Hello and welcome to Reality TV News Update, where you'll find the most recent news, entertaining moments, and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. The couple did not get their happily ever after in the Magic Kingdom. A beloved Big Brother couple has abruptly called it quits after getting into an explosive fight at Disney World on a group trip with their co-stars, the U.S. Sun has exclusively learned. Fans were able to mingle with their favorite TV personalities at an event in Orlando, Florida, where the most popular contestants from Season 27 joined forces with other reality stars. Following the OTE Celebrity Weekend extravaganza, a group of Big Brother contestants from Season 27 let loose at Disney World. Pictured together enjoying the Magic Kingdom were Riley Jeffries, Catherine Woodman, Kiana Soto, Zach Cornell, and Lauren Dominguez, among others. An insider told the U.S., however, that Lauren and Zach's relationship ended abruptly after a fight. Sun. Zach and Lauren were very much together up until this past weekend, when they, out of nowhere, got into a big fight. They were in Orlando with a number of other Big Brother and TV stars when the fight occurred, the source claimed. They were fine one day, they were not interacting at all the next. They would have to go to the same events with the group, but they kept their distance, and she gave him the cold shoulder. Whatever transpired, it appeared clear that he was to blame. She didn't even look at him, and she was acting icy toward him. The insider added that her friends are rallying around her for support, and many of her loved ones have already unfollowed him on social media. He's trying to make things right, but they're still not back together right now. The U.S. Sun has inquired about the matter. Ever happy after? Fans immediately noticed sparks between Lauren and Zach as soon as they entered the Big Brother house in July. While they didn't officially date on camera during their season, sparks were clearly noticeable for fans up until they were separated when Zach was eliminated earlier in the season. Zach stated in his interview following the elimination that he intended to pursue Lauren outside of the BB house. "We had planned a date, me flying out to Lauren's hometown in Louisiana and everything, and I am holding true to that." While she was still filming inside the house, he gushed, "Lauren, I'm really excited to hopefully see you." Season 27 viewers had high hopes for the attractive couple because of their undeniable chemistry and their constant flirting. After the season ended in September, it was still unclear if they were officially an item. On the other hand, in October, they posted a TikTok video of themselves in love while traveling to New York City. When the Big Brother 27 cast began congregating outside the resort lobby, eager for a day filled with rides, photo opportunities, and fan meet and greets, the sun had barely begun to rise over the pastel-colored buildings of Disney World. Social media had been buzzing about their Orlando weekend get-together for weeks. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for former housemates to reconnect, joke about previous alliances, and enter the realm of pure childhood magic. But behind the bright smiles and character-themed outfits, storm clouds were already rumbling over one of the franchise's most adored couples, Mika and Jordan, the duo fans had sworn would outlast every showmance in reality TV history. They were the couple who began the season slowly, always circling one another but never fully acknowledging their attraction until week 4, when live feeds captured their whispered conversations in the hammock. From that point on, they were a regular sight, fighting, flirting, and laughing in that cute way that couples do when the whole world is watching. The same couple who claimed to have survived the pressure cooker of the Big Brother house never expected to fall apart in the place known as the happiest on earth. The tension starts early. It was Rachel, always the first to notice drama, who sensed something was off. "Are you both okay?" That morning, as they waited at the monorail station, she questioned Mika. Mika made herself smile. Absolutely fine, just worn out. But she wasn't fine. She hadn't been fine since the night before when everything began spiraling. The cast had planned a casual dinner at one of the resort's restaurants. Nothing dramatic, just food, drinks, nostalgia, and laughter echoing around the table. But somewhere between the appetizers arriving and the dessert menus being passed around, Jordan made a joke that landed hard and wrong. He'd teased Mika about being too sensitive during the season and always needing attention. It was the kind of joke that friends might shrug off, but Mika froze. The table fell silent. Even Brendan, who typically completely misses cues, felt the change. "You always do that," Mika finally said. "Say something that cuts deep and pretend it's a joke." Jordan tried to laugh it off, but Mika was not laughing. The argument continued well after dinner, through the resort hallways into their shared room and, to the horror of anyone unfortunate enough to be nearby, right into the early hours of the morning. And by sunrise, the love story fans cherished had turned into something fragile, sharp, and ready to break. Day 2 saw the group begin at Magic Kingdom. They hoped the atmosphere would diffuse the tension, but it didn't. Mika walked ahead with the girls, Rachel, Lauren, and Naomi, while Jordan stuck with the guys. He kept checking his phone, scrolling through messages he wasn't answering. By noon, the two were barely acknowledging one another. Still, everyone hoped things would smooth out, but Big Thunder Mountain Railroad changed everything. Jordan came up to Mika just as the cast had just gotten off the ride. "Can we speak?" he asked quietly. "Now? Here?" she said, gesturing at the massive crowd. "Yes, now." The others exchanged uneasy glances. Disney tourists swarmed past, unaware that reality TV chaos was brewing at the exit. "What can we talk about?" Mika snapped, her voice sharper than any of them had ever heard from her. Jordan exhaled. "You walked away last night. You didn't let me explain." "Because you never take responsibility," she fired back. "You embarrass me in front of everyone and expect me to brush it off. I'm finished with that." Jordan stepped closer. "It was a joke." "You don't joke like that with someone you love." The words hit him harder than any competition in the Big Brother house ever had. Cameras weren't rolling. There were no diary room confessionals to hide in. There was only the raw, unfiltered reality of a relationship falling apart in a theme park full of Mickey ears and matching t-shirts. They were recognized by fans nearby, prompting whispers. "That's Mika and Jordan. Are they fighting? Are they breaking up?" Jordan lowered his voice as he noticed the increasing attention. "Let's talk somewhere private." "No," Mika said. "I'm done talking. I'm done explaining, and I'm done with this." Though soft, the words were devastating. Lauren gasped. Rachel froze. Even Keanu, never one to stay out of drama, didn't know what to say. Mika took a shaky breath, wiped her eyes, and turned to the group. "I'm going back to the hotel." Without looking back, she left. The split confirms itself. By the time the cast returned to the resort later that afternoon, Mika had already checked into a separate room. Jordan knocked once, twice, 3 times. No answer. Inside, Mika was pacing, heart racing, tears she hated spilling down her face. She had replayed their fight 100 times in her head. She had tried to convince herself that leaving him was impulsive, emotional, and unreasonable. But every time she reached for her phone to call him, something inside her stopped her. She loved Jordan very much, but she no longer felt loved in the same way. The truth was simple. Jordan, on the other hand, was sitting outside by the resort fountain, staring at his hands and replaying the same words over and over again. "You don't joke like that with someone you love." He had not intended to hurt her. He had been trying to lighten the mood, make her laugh. He always joked. But Mika was no longer laughing. By nightfall, the rest of the cast reluctantly accepted the truth. The couple was over. Their romance, which was once the bloodline of the BB27 fandom, had finally broken down under pressure, not in the game, but outside, in real life, where people were much
struggles to get through the aftermath. Dinner that night was painfully quiet. Usually, the group dinner at Disney Springs was full of stories from the house, cheers, frantic photo swapping, and jokes. But now, they sat in 2 awkward clusters, one side comforting Mika, the other trying to pull Jordan out of his silence. "I thought they'd get married next year," Rachel said to Lauren as she leaned over to whisper to her. "So did everyone," Lauren whispered back. They were enveloped in a cloud of emotion. Even the fans online, who began posting sightings and speculating instantly, felt the shock ripple through the Big Brother community. The final straw. Mika went downstairs, grabbed her luggage, and put her key card on the nightstand the morning of checkout. Despite her best efforts, she was unable to make it out of the building in time to meet anyone. Jordan was standing in the lobby. This time, there was no yelling, no tears, no crowd. "Are you sure?" he asked softly. Mika took a breath. "Yeah, I'm sure." He gave a nod, and just like that, one of the franchise's favorite love stories quietly ended, not with a televised blow-up, not with a dramatic eviction night speech, but with two people accepting they were no longer the same as they had been in the house. A stillness that speaks volumes. As the cast headed to the airport, everyone felt the hollow space where Mika and Jordan used to be, together, laughing, teasing each other, inseparable. There was more to the breakup than just a relationship ending. The era had come to an end, and for fans, it was the plot twist nobody saw coming. The Big Brother 27 cast hadn't been together in the same place since the finale wrapped months earlier, but their long-awaited Disney World reunion weekend was supposed to be nothing but fun. Matching shirts, group selfies, and a flood of nostalgia no reality TV fan could resist. Instead, it turned into the site of one of the most shocking breakups the fandom had ever witnessed. Everyone knew Talia and Reese as the golden couple of BB27, the slow-burn showmance that blossomed into a real relationship after the finale. They had adoring fans. Co-stars rooted for them. The way he looked at her and the way she softened around him struck even the most cynical viewers as genuine sweetness. Because of this, nobody anticipated how quickly everything would collapse. The first signs of trouble. The group excursion began without incident. After checking into the resort and dropping off their belongings, they immediately began preparing for the 2 days of Disney chaos. But by the end of the first night, the cracks had already begun. It started at dinner. The cast gathered around a long outdoor table, laughing about old competitions and reliving chaotic veto ceremonies. Reese cut Talia off with a smirk as she was relating a story about her infamous meltdown in Week 6, which fans continued to turn into memes. She's leaving out the part where she cried for like 2 hours because someone ate her granola bar. Talia's smile froze. I did not cry for 2 hours. A solid hour, then, Reese said, shrugging. Sensing tension, the other people laughed weakly. Talia didn't laugh at all. By the time the dessert arrived, they were silent. Day 2. Disney magic can't fix everything. The next morning, the group headed into Magic Kingdom. Everyone hoped the cheerful energy would wash away the awkwardness, but if anything, it got worse. Reese walked ahead with the guys. Talia stuck close to the girls, pretending everything was fine, even though her jaw was clenched so tightly she barely spoke. They reunited briefly for a group photo near Cinderella's castle, but even fans noticed the distance. Are Talia and Reese okay? Someone whispered as they passed, snapping pictures from afar. No one in the cast dared answer. The fight that changed everything. The actual explosion occurred at Space Mountain immediately following the group's exit from the ride. Talia checked her phone and found a message from Reese, sent earlier, complaining that she was being dramatic and making the whole trip uncomfortable. She marched straight toward him across the crowded walkway. "You texted me that?" she insisted. As people began to pay attention to the altercation, Reese nervously turned to look around. "Talia, don't be here." "No, here," she snapped. "If you can text it here, you can talk about it here." Their co-stars exchanged panicked looks. Lauren heard Naomi say, "Oh no, this will be terrible." Talia continued, "You've been ignoring me all morning, and now I'm the one who makes the trip bad?" Reese's face tightened. "You're picking fights over nothing." "Nothing?" Her voice rose an octave. "You humiliated me last night." He was insistent. "It was a joke." She stated, "You always hide behind that. But you know what? It's not funny. Not when it's always at my expense." Now people were openly staring, with some of them clearly preparing to post every detail to social media while typing on their phones. Reese lowered his voice. "Can we please not do this in front of everyone?" Too late. Talia took a shaking breath. "I'm done, Reese. I no longer engage in this." He froze. "Are you serious?" She offered her response.
As serious as you were when you put me down in front of everyone at dinner. I deserve more than someone who thinks I'm a joke." Reese's silence said everything. Talia turned away, tears gathering but refusing to fall, and walked off through the crowd as castmates hurried after her. Reese yelled from behind, "Unbelievable," before kicking the curb and storming the other way. The break was official. Aftermath. A cast in shock. The rest of the day was a mess of awkward group splits. The cast didn't know who to stay with. Talia needed comfort, but Reese looked absolutely gutted. By lunchtime, the internet already knew. The fight had been recorded by someone. Fans were dissecting every second. Hashtag Team Talia. Hashtag Team Reese. Hashtag BB27 Drama. Hashtag Disney Disaster. Talia didn't check her phone. She curled up in the resort room and stared at the ceiling, reliving all of the agonizing events of the previous 24 hours. Across the hall, Jordan sat on the edge of his bed, head in his hands, trying to figure out how everything collapsed so fast. Even their closest friends didn't know what to do. Lauren knocked quietly on Talia's door. "Would you like to talk?" Talia shook her head. "There's nothing to talk about. I should have ended this before we came." Meanwhile, Jordan sat with Reese, who kept insisting, "I didn't mean it like that. She knows I didn't." But intention no longer mattered. The damage was done. The second morning. Talia arrived on her own as the group gathered in the lobby for checkout, dragging her suitcase with a worn-out expression. Reese was already there, sitting stiffly on a bench. Only once did they look at each other. It was not enraged, it was not cold. It was just empty. A quiet acknowledgement that something beautiful had ended. Reese stood, hesitating. "Talia, can we at least talk before we leave?" Talia paused. Her voice was soft, but the words were final. "There's nothing left to say." She walked past him, joining the others outside. Reese did not follow. The cast boarded separate shuttles, Reese with the guys, Talia with the girls. No one spoke more than was required. Even the usual goofy airport selfies were nowhere to be found. Magic was promised by Disney World. Instead, it delivered heartbreak. An end to a fan-favorite love story. By the time the plane took off, the entire BB fandom knew the truth. Talia and Reese were officially broken up. The couple that once won hearts inside the Big Brother house had fallen apart in the most public, painful way imaginable. Not with a whisper, not with a quiet fade, but with a fiery, unforgettable blow-up in the middle of the Magic Kingdom.